For this question, we want to use the properties of logarithms to expand the logarithmic expression whenever possible and evaluate the logarithmic expressions. The expression we have is log of square root x over 100,000 y to the fourth. So the properties that are being described here are properties of logarithms called the product rule, the quotient rule, and the power rule. And these properties are explaining how you might deal with simplifying or rewriting multiplication, hence the name product, division, or a quotient, which is why it's got the name quotient rule, and also a power inside the log. So you need to know these three properties. And when you have a product inside of the log, like you have here, what you can do is you can expand it into multiple logarithms that you then add together. Now, what goes in each one of those logarithms are the factors. So you can see this is a factor of m, and m is inside of this log. We have a factor of n, and n is inside the second log here. So we can expand this logarithm using this product rule for logarithms. Then we have the quotient rule. So if we have division, we're going to take the factor that we have in the numerator into one log and the factor that we have in the denominator to the other log. But I want you to notice, very importantly, that there is a minus here instead of a plus. So that minus is on the factor from the denominator only. So anytime we have a factor from the denominator, you're going to have a minus in front of that log. And then the power rule allows you to take this power and make it the coefficient on the log. So it's almost like plucking it. You can imagine grabbing that symbol from the exponent and moving it to become the coefficient. And so that's what we're going to use to simplify this expression or expand this expression. So the first thing I want to take note of on our example is we have a square root. Square rooting is the same thing as raising something to the 1/2 power. So this is the same thing as log of x to the 1/2 over 100,000 y to the fourth. Okay, so we're going to need that later when we use our product rule. I'm sorry, the power rule. So then what I want to notice is I'm going to start by using the product and the quotient rule first. And so because I'm going to use that product and quotient rule first, I want to look inside for anywhere there's multiplication or division. So I notice that I have a factor here with division, another factor here, and another factor here. So those are all my places that I have multiplication and division. And because I have 3 different factors here, I'm going to expand to 3 different logarithms. Each one will have a different one of these factors. So we're going to have log of x to the 1/2 excuse me, my pen's acting up. Log of x to the 1/2, we're going to have log of 100,000. And we're going to have log of y to the fourth. And we're going to put pluses and minus signs between these depending on whether the factors came from the numerator or denominator. So remember down here with the quotient rule, let me erase this so it's not quite so messy, that the stuff, the factors that come from the numerator are going to have a positive log. However, the factors that come from the denominator will have a negative log. So these two factors that came from the denominator, these two have negatives, and the first one came from the numerator, so it's positive. So now we've used both the product rule and the quotient rule at the same time. Then we're going to move on to the power rule. So with the power rule, these two have powers, and I'm going to be able to move those powers to become the coefficients. So each of those will become 1/2 log of x and minus 4 log of y. That brings us to this last one here, and this last one is log of a number. And when you have log of a number, you want to try to simplify that log. In this example, we have log, and there is no subscript written here, and that means that we assume that the base of this log is base 10. So this is the same thing as log base 10 of 100,000. And we'll do this work on the side over here. I want to figure out what log base 10 of 100,000 is. So we have a strategy where we say, I'm not sure what this equals. Let me rewrite it as an exponential. As an exponential, we would say the base of 10 to what power is equal to 100,000. And I know by counting these zeros that 10 to the 5th power is 100,000. And so that must mean that our power is 5 and that log is 5. So this is going to equal 1/2 log of x minus 5 minus 4 log of y. Thank you for checking out my videos. Have a great day.